I'm a mom of four, and some days I actually do my makeup, and I've had a couple people ask, how do I do my makeup? I am not a makeup artist, so this is gonna be really funny, because I just, whatever makeup I have, I just kind of mix it, blend it, go with it. I watch a lot of makeup artists, but I have not perfected it. So, yeah, you're not gonna get a certificate or anything from watching this video. So the first thing I do after I've already washed my face is, and I put my moisturizer on, then I started using, because I have super oily skin, so I started using this e.l.f. Oil control primer. There's a lot that comes out. It says it's a mist, but it's a heavy mist. So I usually, this one's brand new, I usually spray it on my face, and then kind of like fan it a little bit, just to let it set a little bit. I do leave my face a little bit moist when I apply this concealer. So I started using this Revlon Candid, just for affordability purposes. I used to use Christian Dior. That was my foundation. I used the Dior Forever, and then the Dior Forever concealer, and then the bronzer. But you know, being on a budget, mom of four, I started using in-store products, and it takes a while just to figure out what works for you, so don't be upset. But you will spend money on testing products because it's different than being at a department store where they actually try it on your face for you. I just take the concealer and I look at my dark marks, and I just kind of like put some on where they're at, to just kind of cover them. I have used the Pro Concealer before. I do have those, like the HD correctors and the different colors. Sometimes my skin looks a little bit more reddish when I do that. Since quarantine, I've been in the house, so my skin has gotten really light. So I haven't actually been using the HD corrector. Then I just dab a little bit under my eyes, because I'm a mom of four. And then a couple here. People do like designs and stuff. I don't do all that. Okay, so I used to use 312. This is Maybelline Superstay foundation. I used to use 312 pre-quarantine. Then in 1 month into quarantine from not being outside, I went to 310, lighter shade. And then as of last week, I actually went to 220, which is natural beige. So I need to get outside and get some light. This color is light. I let it sit on my skin for a little bit, but I also add bronzer and a powder over the top that's a little bit darker, so it does get darker on my face. And then I take this brush and just kind of brush into my skin. And I just dab it. I put it on my hand, and then I just kind of dab it and pretty much just start painting my face. Obviously, I might be going a little bit slower right now because I'm doing this as a tutorial, or a walkthrough. I don't know if I could tutor somebody since I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just doing a walkthrough of my makeup routine. So, I just put it everywhere. At the top of my head. Okay. Just keep blending it in. Cover, and you can see it looks super light right now. But as I've talked to people who do makeup, and as I've learned just doing my own makeup, once I've set it on my face, it oxidizes. Certain makeups oxidize to kind of match my skin tone better. And like I said, once I put on bronzer, in the powder, then it gets a little bit darker. And then I always worry about like the colors not matching here, so I have a camera light on right now, but obviously when you go outside and then your face is like one color and your neck is another color, so make sure to go down into your neck. But the other part is make sure that it actually matches what your color is, because sometimes you can go too red or too dark and it doesn't match the actual color. I have a little bit left on my hand. That's okay, because after I do my eyeshadow I usually go back over a little bit because I don't know how to do eyeshadow, so I usually mess up. Okay, next I use this Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt because I have no idea how to shape my eyebrows. So I just use the natural shape that they have. I haven't been to get a wax in a long time. And then I just basically brush over my eyebrows to get them a little bit darker, define the shape. Some people like line their eyebrows up, use a pencil. I actually have eyebrow powder. I have a couple of the brushes, but I just cannot seem to do it. Like, I just have not taken the time to do it. And again, I'm a mama 4. So this mascara, I just brush it over. It seems to be a quick method for me to shape my eyebrows quickly so I can run out the door and go to work or to church. If you have extra hairs and you do use this over it, it will pick those up. So make sure that you're only going over the areas that you actually want to be in your brow. And then, okay, so I kind of let that do its thing and dry, and then I go to my eyeshadow. I've seen videos where people put eyeshadow on first and then they put their makeup on, but I've done it both ways. A lot of times I'm trying to figure out what eyeshadow I'm gonna use. I kind of experiment, so I don't put my eyeshadows on first. I've been using this nudes palette. It's Academy of Color, and I really like the eyeshadow that goes up here from here. It's like really defined. So I use my brush. I don't even know if this is the right brush, but I use this kind of a brush, and I pretty much just go right under the brow. Okay. And then the other one. All right. And like I said, I'm doing this slower than I would actually do it because most of the time I'm in a rush. So I do it a lot faster. And so I put that on. And then after, there's actually another color in this palette that I really like, especially when I'm going for more of a natural look. And so this color right here is more like a light cement color, reddish brown. I don't know, brick color, a light brick color. But I like putting it right here just to give a little bit of color before I actually start putting my eyeshadow. It doesn't even matter what color eyeshadow I do. Most of the time I still put this on just because I give my eyes a little bit more color to it. Okay, then I have this 88 shimmer eyeshadow palette. I love it. Thanks, Yobo. You're great. But it has all these colors, and from opening and closing it, my top has already fell off. So it has all these colors in there, and this is where I usually play. I've been watching a couple of makeup artists lately, and they use like a red with a darker color over, so I'm just gonna do that today. So I get like this reddish pink color and put it on up top. And I'm using the same brush I did for the white just because it could be a thicker layer. Like the line could be thicker. I don't need it thin or anything. This is gonna be like a terrible video. Thanks, Renita and Heather, for telling me to do this. Now everybody can see how dysfunctional I am doing my makeup. Kind of brush that on, look at it, make sure it looks high enough on both lids. If it doesn't, I just go a little bit higher on the other side so it looks as even as it can be. And sometimes I feel like people look cockeyed because of their makeup, their eye makeup. So that's the other thing I always worry about. I'm gonna go with this like darker color to put over it. So I'm not gonna put it over the top part. I'm really just gonna go over like the bottom part of where that red is and put in this darker color. And I don't know if you can see right here, you can see some of the eyeshadow, which is why I said that I usually save some of my foundation for later. Alright, now that I've done that, then I use this blender and I kind of just try to like blend them in a little bit better. This is like an angled brush. It says it's a bronzing brush. I've never used it for my bronzer. I usually use it to clean up the inside of my crease right here and then along the outside right here. So, and then I swipe up. My eyes are already tight in the almond shape that they have, so I usually swipe up really high just to keep with that shape. Okay, now that I've done that, now I need a color for my eyelids. So I usually try to go with a lighter color. I have this very small brush that I use for that. I like the way it applies. In terms of brushes, I usually just try to find a brush that I like the way it applies the eyeshadow. Sometimes I watch tutorials from people and their skin is different than my skin color and their eyeshadow palettes are different than my eyeshadow palettes, and so I just feel like whatever brush actually works to get the color on the best, where it's vibrant and it's what you want, just stick with that. And then I kind of just roll it on my lids and there's the eyeshadow. So then there's some days I do decide I want to do eyeliner and I'll use this Wet n Wild felt tip eyeliner, and I'll do the top. And then there's some days I'm like, I don't got time for all that. So I just use eyeliner, eyebrow pencil, and just kind of go down here on the inside. I don't really go outside of my lid. So one of my friends taught me that inside your lid makes your eye appear smaller, outside of the actual lid makes your eye appear wider. My eyes are already small. I don't know why I still do it on the inside, but I guess when I do it on the outside, I feel like I don't get that smoky look or that clean line. I look like I'm a mom of 10 kids because I have this dark black line. So I just kind of do this line underneath. I don't really go all into like, oh, I gotta have a tail and doing all that. It's too much work. So, yeah. Alright. I actually remember in the like 90s, late 80s, the 90s, when my mom would put her eyeliner on, she would actually take her eyebrow pencil, use her lighter, get it nice and melted and hot, and then she would put it on. I tried that one time and I was like, why would anybody want to do that? So shout out to the ladies who were from the 80s doing that, because that's crazy. And anybody who's still doing that, shout out to you too. Okay. So one of the things that usually happens is I get eyeshadow under here, or because I'm doing this, I get these fingerprint marks under here. So what I do now is I'll take my concealer again once I've already finished my eyes, and I actually dab it. So I saw a couple of video tutorials that said don't just put it under your eye, like actually go down a little bit more. So it was funny. I used to have my bronzer or blush on, and then I saw that video and I was like, oh yeah, because look, your bronzer will actually go right here. So I stopped doing that. Then I use a sponge and wet it a little bit, and then I just kind of clean it up, lighten it, swipe it up a little bit to kind of define what the end of my eyeshadow looks like. Go on the inside, go up, across my nose, across here. Now, one of the things, if you do find, sometimes it happens to me that like, oh, I put too much concealer and now my face is super white. One of the things I'll do is use the foundation that I had left over, and I will actually go under here with the foundation just to give it a little bit more darkness. Okay. And something else that I've tried, because I know that this foundation is particularly light too, is a foundation stick. So this is Wet n Wild Photo Focus. I know Revlon has one too. And so I basically just like put a line on my face right here and right here under my cheekbone. And then because it's light, I've also started using up where my hairline is. And then I just kind of blend it in. So that gets a little bit more color, not all over my face, but in those key areas back into my skin. All right. We're almost at 20 minutes. Golly. All right. So that's pretty much the main stuff that I do. Then I have this Dior bronzer still. I'll use it and just kind of go here on my cheekbone. I don't know why we always open our mouth when we do mascara or anything, but I make faces so I could see like the different shapes and parts of my face. So smiling helps. And then I also have this other color palette. It's Full Spectrum by CoverGirl. These colors are lighter, so the bronzer on this one comes out like a lot brighter than my Dior one. Then I do a little bit on this side sometimes just to get like a little bit brighter look. And then the blush, so I was told you could actually put bronzer, blush, and kind of like mix them together. So sometimes I do that, just kind of put it on there a little bit to give it a color and a shimmer. And then I use a different blush brush and kind of sweep it, because sometimes it looks like those old ladies that just have those one white like bright strips just right there, and I don't like the way that looks. So I try to blend it in more so it doesn't just look like one like strip of blush on my face. I gotta kind of make my face look like I know what I'm doing. Okay, so this is what we got so far. Now the next thing that I'll do is my mascara. I use Maybelline the Colosso. It's waterproof, so I like using waterproof mascara. It's hot in Corpus Christi, so I'll sweat. I might get caught in the rain, just different things. I don't put lashes on. My lashes are already long, so I just put the mascara on. I just put mascara on my face. I know you're probably thinking like, you cannot do this in 15 minutes. I can. I'm a mom of 4. I have to. That's why the top liner doesn't always make it, because it takes me time to do that. I'm not that great at it. So having the brow mascara helps because it makes it a quicker process. And then like having a go-to eyeshadow palette, like a system that you like using the colors. That way when you don't have time, you just kind of go with the same thing. So lately this color scheme has been working for me. I like it. Then I do my bottom lashes. Some people do their bottom lashes and some people don't. I don't know. I used to not really do them, but then I felt like my eye looked funny because I would do all this stuff to my eyes, and then I wouldn't have anything on the bottom. So what's funny is my really good friend is a makeup artist, so I don't know if she sees this video, she's gonna be proud of me for actually attempting, or if she's gonna be cringing like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? I don't know. I think in terms of makeup, people just gotta do whatever works for them. Whatever works for them in terms of time, whatever works for them in terms of budget. Like, you just gotta figure out what works for you. I used to think like, man, this is too much work doing all this stuff. Let me just put on some mascara and some lip gloss and I'm good. But over time, I guess on the weekends when I would get bored, I started playing with things and just kind of started trying to learn how to do stuff. And I think over time I've gotten, I want to say perfect, but a little bit better at things. Okay, so I usually put on my finishing powder. And this is Maybelline Superstay Pressed Powder Foundation. I don't know if you're supposed to be putting stuff on like that over your blush. I don't know. I do it. I feel like it blends more. I'm all about blending. Like, sometimes I don't want stuff. I see people just like with this bright red light line, and I'm like, I don't want it to look like that. I also started, because I saw in a lot of videos people were using this loose white powder. I had gotten a white powder, but mine was not going on my face the same way. So a couple days ago, I got this Maybelline Lasting Fix loose setting powder. Again, I have oily skin, so the powders, I feel like they're helping me. And then I have this powder sponge. I didn't even know up until a couple days ago that there were different sponges. And then I just kind of put the powder under my lashes. Across my nose. It's funny, the first time I did this, I was like, I look like Dave Chappelle. Anybody who knows that reference? Okay, so I guess I honestly don't know what this is for. Maybe I never pay attention to makeup videos. I think it's to make your eyes look like not as sleepy and tired. So I go back over with my brush and just kind of sweep it off. But I think it's to like soften your under your eyes. Sometimes, depending on what's going on, if I have like WebEx videos or something like that, I'll go back to this CoverGirl Spectrum Full Spectrum palette and use the highlighter on here and this little thin fan looking brush, which is I guess for highlighting stuff, and I'll just put a little bit of highlighter right on the top part of my cheekbone. And then sometimes I do a little bit like this across my nose. Okay, seriously, that is it. That's everything. I'm trying to think what else. That's it. I do have these, so I do like using, I don't know, I'm giving Maybelline a lot of business, I will say that. I like using these Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink lipsticks. They stay on all day. Like, I have to use a makeup wipe to take them off at night. But lately I haven't really been trying to put on a lot of stuff on my lips. What I have been putting on my lips lately though is good old Vaseline. So I'm all about having soft looking lips and soft lips. So I'll like just, I leave the whatever makeup from my foundation is on my lips, I just leave it on there. And then I just kind of rub some of that on there. And that is everything. Oh, for anybody who wants something to finish it, I have different things I've used. So I've used the NYX matte finish. It doesn't help my skin, it's too oily. I've used the Milani Make It Last matte finish. This one works pretty good. My favorite one is I don't even know what it's called because I don't have it because it's expensive right now. I have not been buying it, but you can get it at Ulta, and it is a finishing spray. So you just shake it. This thing says to go on an X over your face. I don't even know what that means. Like, in terms of this, that sounds funny. So I just shake it up and then I just go in a zigzag down my face. I don't know about doing like an X. I don't know. Again, I'm not perfect. That is it.